Nation.
With a personality shaped by being an athlete and a background in mainstream sports media, I found that the stories I was most interested in telling were the ones often overlooked, the ones that might not otherwise be told, the ones that show the intangible and not just the highlight reel. The Sports Council is about highlighting the great, the good, the unique, and everything in between in the Pacific Northwest sports world. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Welcome to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. I'm Jamie Council, and we're joined by Grant Richardson, head coach of Richland Bomber Baseball. And it's tough not to look back at last year. What a historic season. Undefeated, state champions. I mean, looking back at that, that has to be a highlight for you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. People ask all the time, how did you guys go undefeated? And you never go into a season really thinking you're going to go undefeated, right? You just go in trying to win every game, and at the ultimate goal is just to win the last one, right? And so, when it was all said and done, you just kind of look back and go, oh, my gosh, how the heck did that happen? But, we had a lot of things go our way, and we had the right recipe of guys, and they worked hard day in and day out, and we ended up on top.
Absolutely. And taking a look at the banners back there, 2018, 2024 state champions. What have you done just to cultivate that? And even talking with some of your players where it's like, we expect to win a Bomber baseball.
Yeah, and obviously winning is we want to win, right? There's no doubt about it, we want to win, but we also know what it takes. And that's what we try to focus on is working every day in and day out on what it takes to win. And even when you don't end up on top, okay, what can we take from that? How can we get better to make sure we don't make the same mistakes that we did the time before? I'm blessed with an unbelievable coaching staff. We've been blessed with some great guys coming through. Most notably, just the way these guys get along together. They hang out outside of the baseball field, outside of the classroom. They know how to compete, and it's just, they're a fun group to be around, and it makes it a pleasure to come out and coach them.
Coming into this season, I think a big thing is managing expectations, that you can't just lose 11 seniors and expect to pick up directly where you left off.
Yeah. We have a few key parts that were on the squad last year that are back, but really a whole new group of guys that they're hungry though. They see those banners and they've seen the guys before them. They kind of want to put their mark on this baseball program, and so we're just excited to be out here. The sun's shining and be able to try to repeat another championship.
Exactly. When I saw the weather today, I'm like, okay, good. I'm so glad we're not going to blow away.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we got enough rain last night, so it's actually keeping us off the field today, but we'll get enough done. And
what year is this for you?
Oh, gosh. I started in 2013, was my first year as the head coach at Richland High School. I was a couple years as an assistant at Kamaikan before that, so I don't know, what's that, 13 years or something, so... It's been a while.
It's been a while. And would you say last year's kind of the pinnacle of it, or where would you rate last season in that 13 years that you've had at Richland?
That's a great question. Even some of the years that we didn't win, we had some unbelievable years. But 2018 was pretty special for me and the group of guys that we had. And we were almost a 500 team that year going into the playoffs, and we caught fire. Just another great group of guys. And in fact, I'm starting to get some of those guys coming back, coaching in the program. So it's neat getting those guys back through. But we've had a good run the last several years. And I can't say enough about the group of guys that we've had come through that have just been fun to work with.
I was just researching that actually because I was taking a look at the Mid-Columbia Conference. Last year, you were the coach of the year. You had the player of the year. You had the pitcher of the year, conference champions. And then I also looked at 2018. Yeah. You guys didn't have a single pitcher, not on the first team, not on the second team, not on the honorable mention. You guys weren't MCC champions. It was Southridge that year. And I was looking at the banner and just looking at when it what you guys did during regular season and completely separate years, even though they both ended with a state championship.
Yeah, it is. Two completely different stories that both ended on top. But you learn a lot about being a coach when you've coached those both types of teams, right? And had to go through the challenges. Last year the challenge became staying undefeated. Right? It hit that point where it's like, okay, everybody asks, do you want to lose one? It was like, well, maybe early in the year you can learn a lot, right? But once you get later in the year, it's like, no, we don't want to lose one because, the guys last year, they just thought they were invincible and in a good way, not an arrogant way, but they expected to go out and win every day. And so, yeah, definitely, but then you get that at high school baseball. You don't get to recruit your own guys. You kind of get what's coming through. And, being in my 13th year, you just you learn to go with those guys, and you have your certain standards, your expectations, you're kind of immovables, if you will, but really you kind of lean on those guys and work on their strengths and kind of let them go out and have some fun.
And you did have a lot of talent on last year's team, and they had a lot of fun. Yeah. So with those 11 seniors, where are they now? I know that you're really tight with them. So what are former Bombers that are now at the next level? Yeah, well,
Chris Daniels is down in New Mexico State, right? He's having a good time, getting some playing time down there. Alec Ammerman, he's down at Grand Canyon University. He hasn't gotten any time yet. He may get a red shirt this year, but I think his future's bright. Dallas Bennett, who was another first teamer for us last year, he's actually on his mission right now, for his church. So, guys doing different stuff, and not everybody decided to go play baseball. Race Reeves is still playing baseball, but just guys that were here in the moment and wanted to compete and like I said, put their name on that wall and have their picture up in the gym and can't say enough about that group. And
that's something at the high school level. It's not about, oh, you're a baseball player. It's about getting the best out of them when they're in your program. So what do you do as a coach to make sure that you're getting the best out of them? That's
it's hard to really kind of put your finger on what it is. I think over the course of, I've been in my 13th year, you learn every year. And that's, early on in my career, you're young. I was 30 years old when I got the job. And so I still thought I knew everything, right? But you learn to adjust and kind of lean on your assistant coaches quite a bit. And like I said, I'm blessed to have the staff that I have and the knowledge I think that we have all together as a staff, and we're kind of an open book with each other. And we develop good relationships with the players and just try to ultimately have a good time.
Well, we're going to talk about getting the best out of the squad this year when we come back. But first, we're going to hear from some of our sponsors. Again, we're catching up with Grant Richardson, head coach for Richland Bomber Baseball. You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
As Choco Mania ends, we welcome spring with our Easter collection, starting April 7th through Easter Sunday, April 20th. Get yours now and bring in spring the sweet way. While in store, ask about adding a dozen originals for just $9.99. Watch the Krispy Kreme app for great deals. We're also booking spring sports fundraisers or fundraisers for any organization. Ask how your business can win a free dozen originals. That's your local Krispy Kreme, 2805 Duper Tail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
Inconveniences can happen at, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
We're back on the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports, catching up with Grant Richardson, head coach at Richland High School Baseball, coming off a state championship year, lost 11 seniors. Who can we expect to lean on as you guys are coming into this year? You mentioned it in segment 1, some key returners as well as a lot of young talent.
Yeah, I definitely, people ask, how are you guys going to be this year? It's like, we're in a growing period, but we're gonna compete and we're gonna be good. We got a lot of young guys that are gonna have to put their mark on and play an important role in the success that we have this year. And there's the good news is that Richland High School, we don't have a shortage of baseball players. There's a lot of programs that are having a hard time putting 3 teams together, which is crazy to think in the Tri-Cities that we don't have every high school with 3 baseball teams. But at Richland High School, fortunately, we got a full program. We got a good young freshman group that I was just talking to our freshman coach the other day. So the future's bright, and I think these guys, they were saying the same thing last year. Like, okay, we got 11 seniors, but we got a good group of kids ready to step up and fill the roles. And so, it's weird to say we lost 11 seniors, but it's kind of that next man up mentality, and everybody's been kind of chomping at the bit. We had a lot of guys playing JV last year that probably could have been playing varsity baseball in a lot of different organizations. It's their turn, and they're ready to roll.
Looking last year, you kind of looked at the guys, Chris Daniels, Alec Ammerman, Dallas Bennett, as well as Woodard played a big, especially in the state championship game. Somebody that baseball wasn't the number one sport, but just such fun memories. Who are the guys this year that people can expect to see their name called?
Well, I think, Carter Uppmeyer, he's been our shortstop. He was our shortstop last year as a junior, and I expect some big things out of him, hopefully from a numbers role, but more importantly, a leadership role. And he's amped up and ready to go. Our 2 sophomores that we had last year that played pretty vital roles, Michael Ravel and Hayden Galloway, they're both juniors this year. So I expect a lot of good things out of them. And again, those guys were there last year, so they know what it takes, not just at the end of the season, but it starts day 1, and here we're just starting week 3. This is when it pays off, right? The work you put in right now ultimately will pay off at the end of the season when it comes down to it.
Coming off a loss, that's something that you guys haven't had to deal with in 2 years. So again, it's a different group, and how are you guys approaching that?
Well, it's funny because people at school are like, hey, you guys lost? It's like, well, it's preseason. I mean, you want to win every game, right? But in the preseason games, they mean more now than they used to with RPI. So you go in and, you try to win all those games. But the way we look at preseason games is we're trying to see, where we're at, what we need to work on. That way we can just kind of set up our goals for the season. And so, it is what it is. We lost a game, but Mount Spokane's a good squad, and we saw some pitching that we'll see later in the season, especially if you get into playoffs. So, you just learn from it, and you try to relay to the guys, hey, this stuff happens. Like, usually you don't go undefeated, right? You just learn from it, and as long as you're working hard going forward, we're going to be all right.
And what are a couple guys that this year you expect to make some leaps and bounds, and that it might be names that people will get to know that sitting behind the depth chart or even on JV or freshmen? So what are some of those names for you guys this year?
It's hard to say. I hate throwing out names right now, but right now we have a senior outfield. All 3 guys are seniors right now. We have Colson Mackey, who was hurt last year. He was a football guy and had an injury in football and couldn't play last year. So we're expecting him to do some good things for us. Jake Brannon, he was right there last year, ready to fill somebody's role, but we had a pretty good group of seniors last year, so I expect him to kind of fill that role. Caden Castro is a transfer from Hanford that came over this year. Just another great kid that's working hard, and I expect him to do some good things for us. And we got some pretty solid sophomores that I think are going to play big roles. Another Woodard's in the program. Dylan Parrott's a sophomore for us, and his brother was in the program last year. And so you're going to see some new names, but hopefully you see some similar celebrations.
Some similar celebrations. I like that. And you say that you don't like throwing names out there, but I love just being able to mention them. And again, you don't know where everybody's going to be sitting. What does pitching look like for you guys this year? That's
kind of the challenge for us, to fill some of those roles that was our strength last year. We didn't give up more than 4 runs in a game. So pitching and defense, it's kind of been our go-to. it's not an offensive game in high school anymore with the bats that we have. And so we put an emphasis on pitching and defense. And obviously we want to do things well offensively, but, we got a junior Braylon Edwards, I think, is going to step up and play a big role in the program. Drew Schock's a senior who's he got his first outing the other day and threw really well for us. And then we're going to count on some sophomores we had 6 sophomores up with us the other day because there wasn't a JV game, and we had some pretty good innings from some young guys. And so it's kind of, again, it's that next man up mentality that who's gonna get in there, who's gonna compete, throw strikes, trust your defense to make the plays for you. That's what we're looking for.
Well, I'll remind you, in the 2018 season when you won state, you didn't have a single pitcher get any all-league honors.
Yeah, which is crazy to think, because I look back and 2 of the most dominant arms I've ever seen in the playoffs, obviously until our run last year. Caleb Richter, 2018, I don't think he gave up a run throughout the playoffs. And we played some pretty good teams, and same with Taylor Johnson. He threw that championship game, and he was kind of unhittable. Those guys were unhittable in the playoffs, and I don't know what turned on for him back then. I like to think maybe as a coaching staff we had something to do with it, but whatever it was kind of some Bomber magic, and they made it happen.
Well, here in 2025, I look forward to seeing the Bomber magic that you guys put together. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, Grant Richardson, head coach of Bomber Baseball. When we come back on the Sports Council, we'll hear from a couple of the players. Again, you're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Inconveniences can happen at, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
As Choco Mania ends, we welcome spring with our Easter collection, starting April 7th through Easter Sunday, April 20th. Get yours now and bring in spring the sweet way. While in store, ask about adding a dozen originals for just $9.99. Watch the Krispy Kreme app for great deals. We're also booking spring sports fundraisers or fundraisers for any organization. Ask how your business can win a free dozen originals. That's your local Krispy Kreme, 2805 Dupertail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
I'm Carter Uppmeyer. I'm a senior and I play shortstop.
My name's Hayden Galloway. I'm a junior and I'm a catcher.
Coming off such a historic season last year, you guys had so many seniors. I guess, how do you approach this year of just coming off that, but now, being a senior yourself, it's a fresh year?
Yeah, we always like to look back and look at the memories and look at the things that we can always learn from, which last year it's hard to learn a lot from that because we did everything so well. But having those experiences, being able to pass them down on the kind of the younger guys and taking that role as a leader this year as a senior, it's big. We have some younger guys coming up to play a big role for us. So I'm looking to pass down some experience and give them what they need.
Just to pick off what Carter said, we have a bunch of young guys. I think we're carrying 11 sophomores this year, so it's going to be mistakes, and then we'll have to readjust and come learn. Because last year we were such a senior-heavy team. We had 11 seniors last year, so
exactly,
it's going to be rough to have that come correlate to this year, and then we'll just have to teach them everything we know.
Absolutely. And looking at the team this year, what can people be excited about in the dugout of Richland Bomber Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we have some returners. We have a couple guys that can have that experience. And even with these new guys, there's a lot of talent on this team, you know? And I know experience plays a big role in that. So having the sophomores a little jittery for the first few games, you know, errors will come, but it's how you can respond to that and come back and fix yourself up throughout the game and do well. We have a good pitching staff. We have a waiting pending transfer Deegan Quisenberry from Maiken coming in. If he can do that, that would be great. If not, we have Michael Ravel and Braylon Edwards stud pitchers for us this year, so those will definitely be a big role for us. Really young infield this year. I'm the only senior in the group, and then we have a very heavy senior, all three of them outfielders this year, so that'll be big to kind of be a voice out there and leaders for all the younger guys for sure.
You know, we're just coming off that historic run last year. It's just we have to recoup and just basically start over again. We're excited for this season. Like Carter said, we got some young guys, bunch of sophomores. They're going to get jittery. Mistakes are going to come. They happen. It's just how we overcome them and how we practice to be better. But overall, I believe it'll have a fun year.
Before this interview, we were kind of talking where you guys played some teams on the west side, and didn't get wins, and it's not just to be expected. One, it's a long season, and two, you can't not have 11 seniors and expect, different people. So how are you guys managing expectations to make sure that you get the best from this group that they are capable of?
Right. Well, 27-0, you can't. That's perfect. You know what I'm saying? So it's perfect. But coming out this year, I think that's it's almost like a reality check. Getting a loss. It's we got to learn from that. And we have those mistakes that came out through the game. We we had more runs scored on us those two games than we did at all last year, in a single game. So it's that's a big hey, here's a punch to the face. How are you going to respond to it? So that was really good for us. We know what to fix off of. And honestly, losing is just a learning experience. So being able to have that now is way better than having it late March when we have MCC play. So it'll be good to learn from that.
Just coming off a loss, it's 27-0. It's hard to be perfect again because we have such high expectations coming from last year, but coming after that loss, it hurt us. You can tell our coaching staff we knew it was going to happen. Like Carter was saying, we want it to happen earlier in the season, so we can learn and readjust to how we want to come play. So it'll be fine, but we'll just have to overcome and work harder every practice, become better teammates, better players, better people in general.
Exactly. And Carter, kind of what you said, where you're managing expectations. When you guys said, we had a loss, that's a huge deal. Putting it into perspective, going 27-0, to me, I'm well, so what? It's early in the season and people are going to have highs and lows. And I think that just speaks to the culture here of Bomber Baseball and the expectations you have for yourselves. Talk a little bit about how you cultivate that in Richland to set the bar so high, no matter who is on the field this year, a younger team, obviously, than you guys had last year with the historic season.
Yeah, actually, I had an interview earlier this week, or I guess last week, and it was I said it's winning is what we do in this program. I don't remember the last time that I've looked at Bomber Baseball and be man, they're a losing team. It just doesn't happen, So definitely having that loss now. We played a bunch of younger guys as they were pitching and stuff, and they performed really well, and that's really big for us, knowing that we can have that trust in them early. So come into a squeeze down the stretch, and we have a big game coming up and we can trust those guys. It's going to be huge for us. Right. And we saw that a lot last year. Whenever we got into a pickle, we came out on top because we could trust our guys and we were a brotherhood and we worked together. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing how that'll pan out and see if we can do that again this year for sure.
Yeah. So our coach, we're raised in a winning program. Grant coming off an MLB season, coming back and coaching, that's big for us. He has high expectations for a program. He has all of our coaches, even you look down to freshmen, they have high expectations for them because they want to push them to become a winning program for when they're coming varsity. But Carter was saying, we have such a young team. We have to give trust and there's obviously like mistakes and stuff, like they're going to happen because like they're young, like they're going to, like everyone makes mistakes. Like we're just like, it's going to have to come over time, like to see like how we like overcome them, like how like in the later stretch, like how are we going to become better as a team, like as a brotherhood.
And over the past year, obviously baseball, it's not just during high school season, it's a year-round thing. For each of you guys, what strides do you feel like you guys have made in this past year to put your best selves on the field?
Yeah, so the unique part about last year is like all of us, we played together since we were young. Like I know each and every one of those guys by heart. Like, you know, we had the relationship exactly like a brother, you know. So coming after that season, I mean, going into summer ball and playing throughout with some kids from other areas and stuff, it's like losing is kind of like something that you get used to when you play against like a bunch of better teams. It's like everyone around here is like an all-star team. You just put them all together and then they go and play the best teams around, you know. So being able to play that higher level, it just prepares you for this, you know, because there will be better teams and there will be worse teams, but no matter what, in the MCC, it's a tough league. You have to go out and try and play your best. And as soon as you get out of MCC, districts, and state, it's like you got to be performing your best to win games at that point because you're going to be seeing the best arms, the best fielding, the best hitting. So being able to face those better teams, all it does is good for me, I think. And I don't know about Hayden, but it's like, I mean, we even faced each other, our teams, a couple times this summer, and being able to play against your brother, you know, it's like, yeah, I know this guy's a stud, so let's go and try and ball out and see if I can beat my brother.
Yeah, so right after that, I remember I went up to Seattle to go play a tournament team. And remember we lost. I was like, wow, that's like something I haven't like had a feeling to yet, because coming off a historic run, 27-0, like it really hurt. Like knowing someone like you can lose, but you can win at the same time. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, like Carter was saying, like we faced each other. Like I remember he was having that bat and I was catching. I was like, man, this is weird. Like I'm not used to you standing in the box now. But yeah, like brotherhood's a big deal. Like we gotta all become one for the rest of the season, even throughout the season, after the season. Like once a brother, always a brother.
And what would you say are the expectations in Bomber baseball this season?
I would say win. I mean, like losing is going to happen, and that's just reality of life and baseball, of course. And it's just how you can learn from that loss. You know, it's like at the end of the day, your loses become a win, because once you get that lesson, and you come out with your brothers and be like, yes, we got to fix this. And then we perform better because of that. So I think winning is always an expectation for our team and our program, and I think it always will be.
I mean, like we had high expectations. Like PBR Washington ranked us 1 in the state because they knew like we had stuff going. Like, but after that loss, we're gonna have to recoup and like understand like losing is like part of the game. Like it's hard to go perfect, right? Like it's nearly impossible. But like going 28-0 and then losing your next game, like it's gonna be rough, especially like as coaches, as players, like as like returners. Like it's weird to like experience the losing aspect of the sport now, like especially from Bomber baseball.
For you specifically, Carter, you're a senior. Obviously, you have a lot coming up in the next couple months here in Bomber baseball. But what's next for you beyond life at Richland High School?
Yeah, so I mean, this is obviously my last season, so I'm trying to make it one of my best. You know, it's hard to do last year, but I'm just trying to have fun with my boys as much as I can. You know, the season comes short. As soon as it goes, it flies by. So that'll be good. But I'm going to go play some summer ball, and then next year I'm going to Northwest Nazarene to play baseball there to continue my athletic and academic career. So that'll be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to that, and looking forward to see what that'll bring.
Do you know what you want to major in?
Yes, I'm doing business management right now. I want to do something in the medical field, but it's pretty hard when you miss labs and stuff. So I've decided to go away from that. But yeah, business management right now.
Well, best of luck this season. I appreciate your guys' time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that wrap up this week's show of the Sports Council. Thank you for joining me on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. A reminder, the Sports Council happens 4 times a month, 11:30 a.m. on Thursdays. But you can listen to the show not just over the airwaves at 11:30 on Thursdays, but also on demand at 1340ESPNradio.com via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for the Sports Council. And it's also
also available via YouTube. So lots of ways to listen to the Sports Council and support our local sports community. Until next time, I'm Jamie Council. Now we go back to your originally scheduled Seattle sports programming.